Hello, welcome to another live stream. And today we will be painting this reference that I have here. So, before we start painting, I'm going to start with talking about the reference and then swatching the pigments that I'm going to use today. And then we can quickly dive into action, that's painting the reference. So, as you can see here, the beauty of this reference is the foreground flowers are blurry, and generally what's in the background, which generally is blurry, is in focus here. The horizon line is bang in the middle. I may just move it a bit. Um, and the pigments that I'm using are going to be the Supervision Art ones for the greens. Um, For the yellow, I may just go with Hansa yellow mixed with some burnt sienna or something like that. We will probably swatch some as I mix them. And for the sky, I'll use cerulean blue and a little bit of neutral tint just to give that clouds effect. So, yeah, that's what I'm planning to do today. And then let me just sketch these mountains really quick. So, these are the faraway mountains. And this one is coming in from here. And this is the shadow area that we will do glazing with. um we will paint most of this wet on wet to keep it soft. And as you can see, I am just barely sketching it. I'm not being too strict about what lines are going where. I'm just giving myself some kind of guideline to follow. And this probably will be the brown, and then here is where our green will be, and then we will go for the flowers. I hope you guys can hear me well. So I'm going to start with sketching swatching our pigments, right? So this is going to be my bright green, which I really love. So this is going to be my first pigment for the grass area and for the foreground. This is going to be my, not sure if this could be my sky. This is going to be the foreground again. This is another green to add shadows. Might use this for mixing the darker landmass. And this is the for the clouds. So yeah, these are the shades I'll be using. So let's get started. I'm going to leave the swatches on the side. We will also use the yellow for mixing for the mountains here. And I'll let you know when probably this is the color that I will go for. Either this or the yellow ochre. Yeah, I think the yellow ochre. So I'm going to start with the sky first. We're going to paint wet on wet. Whenever you need things to blend smoothly, wet on wet is your best friend. If you need softness, if you need things to blend, always opt for wet on wet. And also, these supervision paints are layered. So if you go wet on wet, is when they layer beautifully. Like they will show you the best version of themselves when you're layering them. I mean, they kind of separate. There's a little bit of green in this blue. I'm not sure if that's going to help my painting or not, but we'll see. This is the gray that I had, so I'm going to go with this color. First, I'm going to try and lift a bit of the blue here and then drop the gray. It may not be visible eventually, but it will give a good character to the painting. Now I'm going to start with my yellow ochre. Actually, this is a bright yellow, so I'll probably start with this color. It is more warm than the yellow ochre that I have. So, do you always begin from the background to the foreground? Because I don't tend to always do that. So, this is our base layer for the mountain, and we are going to build over this. I'm just focusing on the shapes here and then just covering those shapes with the paint. Currently, I'm not thinking about the values and things, I'm just covering the shapes. Now I'm going to add the darker tones while it's still wet to keep the looseness. Bringing it closer. Going to mix a little bit of green to this to give a little more color variation. So while I'm doing this, I'm also thinking about adding depth. So there is more light on the top here, so I'm going to keep it lighter. And this shadow hitting this side, so I'm going to keep that darker. So again, I'm painting the shadow. I'm going to start painting the foreground now. Now, here's where I think I should have picked probably a cold press paper, because dry brushing would have really helped get the textures. So, mixing the color as I go. And then we'll go in with the green. At this point, I'm really thinking I should have just gone with the rough paper. I'm wiping off the moisture from my brush every time I'm going in for the grass blades, because I want that texture to be really highlighted. I'm trying to keep these white spaces for the glow. And I'm going to go in for the shadows on the mountain. I'm not sure if you see it and can appreciate it, that the moment you add the shadow, the mountains look very different. Now just adding a few nuanced mountains. These have a few green mountains as well. Like there is a green grass, lush grass here. I'm not trying to paint every grass blade and every tree. Trying to get as much as looseness in the atmosphere as I can. And here is where I'll probably add a few drops of water for it to really look like grass. And a little bit of depth and shadow here. Just a little bit of texture because this is a hot press paper. It's a little difficult to get the texture in the mountain, but I'm trying. Probably drop a little water here along with the paint to get that texture going. And now I'm going to just add a bit, probably I think this is probably it. Don't have best of the lights here. Let me see if I can turn on my light. This is how it looks. I don't hate it. So, yeah, I might give it a go again, but I don't think I hate it. So, yeah, this is probably my first attempt. I will try and attempt it again tomorrow morning. The light is bad right now. I want to know my colors well. So, yeah, I'll leave you at that. Thanks for joining me today. Bye.